Hey, it's Oska from the Frontrunner Colombo.
And Tom from the Frontrunner Colombo.
And Anna from the Frontrunner Colombo.
And you are listening to Run Spesh, our weekly running specialty podcast where we talk about the human locomotive movement we all call running. I had to double check that locomotive was actually a word.
Definitely.
Like two weeks ago, I was like, can you have human locomotive and is it running? Because I just made that up like the second recording we ever did back that last
What
week.
does it actually mean though?
It means that, like running.
Moving.
Like
Running, okay.
locomotive is like
Because I know that, like, because it can also mean a train.
yeah, so
System and movement and
Yeah.
motion or something, I think.
So the human locomotive movement.
Yeah.
That we call running. I'm going to just preface this and say that I'm like 24 hours of landing off a 21-hour flight, so I can't be held accountable for the things I may or may not say
running on fumes
in the next 7 minutes.
Term.
And like probably weed fumes after being in New York for a week, because that place is some next level shit.
Yeah, you end up in the wrong place. You're definitely getting secondhand high.
Oh, walking down 7th Ave, 7th Ave was like getting high. You couldn't avoid it. Can you call it like drug rape?
I guess so.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Anna had tuned out. She's like, I'm not even. This is the first time. So I talked to you guys the week after the marathon, which was 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we released the episode that you and I, Tom, recorded with JC last week.
Yeah,
which people loved. I had so many messages.
Yeah, it's actually been quite talked about, even amongst my mates, which is pretty cool.
I think it does show that that we know a little bit about shoes.
Would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing that let me know that we know a little bit about shoes was spending some time with some other people overseas that thought they knew a little bit about shoes.
Yeah.
And then I asked some questions that they hadn't been asked before, which made me feel good. But we'll talk about that later. So yeah, it's been a crazy 14 days. What you guys been up to?
Hey, honestly, it's been busy as in the shop.
Mm.
Like, well, to the last few days, not too bad. I think the weather's kind of, taking people into their hermit state.
Yeah, they're like,
and everyone's just
I don't
bunking
want to go
down.
outside anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get
But
wet
yeah,
anymore.
following the marathon was hectic. Like, I mean, it's good. Everyone's obviously either seeing their mates doing it and wanting to get into it, or restocking for the next one, I guess. But yeah, I think Anna would say the same thing. It's been pretty
Yeah,
full
it's
on.
been pretty
It's
hectic, but in a good way.
Yeah. The weather was nice and now it's shit.
Landing back, I was in Washington 48 hours ago, 56 hours ago, and it was like 28 degrees.
Yeah.
Landing back here.
Pretty grim.
That morning was pretty grim.
If you're in Christchurch, you know what we're talking about. But
If you know, you know.
yeah. What was it, snow in April or something in Tekabo?
I'm
Yeah.
just going to admit that I was going to say IN, but it's not. It's okay.
Yeah.
My brain is a lot behind the 8 ball. I didn't understand that saying. Why
What
is
is
it like behind the 8 ball? Is that because you're all the balls before you can put the 8 ball in?
Yeah.
Tom doesn't know. He's just agreeing to help me.
Oh,
move
that
on.
makes sense in the pool.
Yeah.
Pool swimming? Tom knows a bit about that.
Does he? You done some
So,
swimming?
Tom, how was your
I'm
swimming?
getting
this week?
better, slowly. It's about the only thing I can do right now, so...
Why? What's it? Look at the cupping you've got
Oh,
on.
my knees, they're still no good from before the marathon, eh? Like, I don't know what I've done, but pissed off something along here and it's just not coming good. So, haven't run in like 3 weeks. Just not ideal. Supposed to be doing Cairns in about 6 weeks, so that's going to be touch and go.
When will you make that call?
Well, I looked back over my training and I saw that before Sydney, I ran for approximately 5 weeks beforehand. That first week may have consisted of only 3 runs, so I want to say like 4. But yeah, I don't know. Like, at the moment, I'm kind of not too phased by it because I realize where my weaknesses are.
And he's not phased by anything.
Yeah, and it's not really stressing me out too much because I'm seeing a lot of improvement in the water, which is cool. And then the bike will kind of take care of itself once I get that all dialed in. But yeah, probably 5 weeks out, I think I'd say. So it's getting pretty close. But we just don't really know what's wrong with it.
Did you have a scan?
No, I had an ultrasound and there was not a whole lot. There was like just some inflammation.
You're not pregnant?
Yeah. Hope not. Yeah, but
Tom's knee's pregnant.
yeah. Emily said try to get an MRI, but I probably need to see someone to get that done.
Birthing bursitis.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just a
Birthitis.
unfortunate training stuff.
It's still a swollen sack.
It is. Probably something in there swollen for sure.
Are we talking about your knee?
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry. I warned people.
No,
mate.
you're good. You're good.
I
Yeah,
don't
I guess
have
we'll
an
just talk about
excuse.
training then. So not a lot of running.
So you're just swimming your guts out
Yeah. No, it's been really good though. Like,
with the squad?
yeah, join the group at Frontrunner, which has been awesome. Just getting my ass handed to me like every week, which is good. But it's been way better because I think I saw something the other day, and someone was talking about triathlon in general, and it's like swimming is the one discipline where if you give your best effort, you don't always go faster, and that like is slowly starting to click. Like this morning we had some 50s, and it was like rotating through steady and then max, and I got quicker and quicker, but I tried less and less. And to me, like to anyone running or cycling or stuff, it doesn't work like that. You have to try to go faster on the bike. You have to try to go faster when you run. But it's such a technical sport, I guess.
And there's no feedback.
No.
Can't see anything.
Can't see anything. So it has been helpful having like a coach looking over it and just kind of getting the cues down. So yeah, that's coming along, which is nice. And then cycling, just getting back on the bike. Finally got my seat post. So it arrived like 3 weeks late, but nothing I could do about that. So we're back on the bike, which is good.
How does the knee feel on the bike?
It's all right. Like I can feel it. It's not crazy painful. Maybe like a 2 out of 10, but it's just niggly still. It's a hard one though, because I'm like trying to strengthen that area to try offload some of the pressure on the knee. But then also when you strengthen it gets tight, and then you kind of want to release it at the same time. So it's a bit of a balancing act, but we've all been there. So
I'm not biting.
yeah.
I don't even know what.
Yeah. Anyway, how was your training week been? Because Anna's back running.
Oh yeah. So you didn't run Christchurch?
No, I didn't run Christchurch. I was like back doing like a bit of easy running then, and then Andy threw me in the deep end and just said, "Yeah, just go do a bit of a workout," which was tempo, which I think I've actually talked about since. But yeah, no. But I've been doing some more fun sessions since we last spoke.
What's a fun session?
Well, like, so how many things can I say?
Like, so what do you call them? Verbs or something?
Adjectives? I don't know.
Nouns.
My strong
I'm so
point.
bad
Yeah.
at that.
Pronouns?
Okay.
We're not talking about pronouns.
Okay, anyways.
Let's talk about Anna's running.
So not Sunday been, but the Sunday before.
It's a he-him session.
No, I'm not laughing.
I'm making fun of myself. Shut up.
Anyways, I did like. Okay.
Come on, Anna. Spit it out.
Spit it out.
Let's go.
Oh, okay. Okay, I did just warmed up and then did like a 20-minute tempo to kind of get primed, and then I did 4 by 1K like progressive.
That's good. I like those workouts.
Yeah,
A mixed combo workout.
Yeah, so that was quite a lot of fun. And I left my shoes in the bush for the first time.
Oh,
and
did you feel anxious?
I did a little bit, but they didn't get stolen. So that was nice. But, you know, if they wanted them, they probably could have them because they're quite beat up. But that's okay.
So what shoes are you working out?
She's not encouraging people to steal shoes, by the way.
No.
No, I just did my tempo and like warm up and stuff. I just used my Tempest because I quite like them, even going a bit faster. And yeah, not too much admin and having to swap the shoes. But then for the 1Ks, I just chucked on my Endorphin Pros.
Athlete.
Nice.
Yeah, so no, that was quite fun, and I felt pretty good. I'm still doing all my workouts based off RPE at the moment, just while I'm like getting fitness back. But it kind of feels like back to the level I was at beforehand, in terms of like where my pace is and stuff. In Hamner Wednesday. It's Friday,
Yes,
Wednesday. Okay. I did like a progressive thingy, like a ladder workout. And my heart rate was going up, but my pace was going down because it was so cold. It was like, feels like 0 degrees or something. It was pissing down with rain, and like Hamden's not very flat. So I was kind of dying, but that's okay. I got it done. But yeah, had a few wee fun workouts.
There's like one flat block in
Yeah.
Hamden that I've done a workout around before, and that's about it.
Yeah, I like didn't really notice I was going downhill for the first half. And then on the back I was like, yeah, I was
a little
go
bit
down.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So what are you back running 5 days a week?
Yeah. 4, 5.
Nice. Fitting it all in. Last 6 weeks of university?
4 weeks now.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I know. So that's pretty exciting. It's really hard to keep the momentum going, but because I had been working full time for the past few weeks, and once you get a taste of that money, it's hard.
You don't want to spit it out, Tommy?
Yeah.
So Oscar, how was your training?
The only thing I've been training is the ability to get a glass of wine from the table to my lips for about the last 2.5 weeks. And I'm joking. No, so when
Are
did
you
I...
okay?
I'm a recovering alcoholic, and the camera's going to run out of battery maybe, which is annoying.
Sorry, we'll keep talking.
We'll keep talking, and when it goes, we'll just charge it for a bit and jump back in. No, so I talked to you guys on the Wednesday night for me or something when I was in New York. And the next morning I went out and ran nearly the whole Manhattan Island, which was really dumb. But I got to see all the bits of New York that you want to see in one go.
What are the bits?
Like Statue of Liberty. I get the joke, and it was good. I appreciate the
Central Park.
Central Park, Empire State Building, and then all like the wharfs along Hudson River, and then coming back along East River. Definitely the east side of it, I sped up a little bit. A few more interesting looking people. And the weird thing about being on the other side of the world is obviously all your friends are asleep, right?
Yeah.
And so no one knew where I was or what I was doing. Which later I was like, maybe I should send a message to Katie before I go with the route that I'm going to run, and be like, I'm going to be here, and if you don't hear from me, by the time you wake up, you know that I'm sitting in a dumpster somewhere. No, actually, to be fair, I didn't feel unsafe the whole time. It was, I think
there's a bad perception of it, eh?
Yeah,
everyone here kind of is like, oh, it's a little dodgy, but when you get there, it's actually not.
It's
bad
not like
at all.
everyone's walking around with handguns.
I mean, most of them do. They just, you just don't
They're
get
just
it.
hidden.
Yeah, they're just hidden.
Well, I noticed that in central New York, there was a gun ban.
Yeah.
So you weren't actually anyway.
Oh, really?
No, yeah. I would say that when the first night I got there, I was like, okay, you can feel the collective stress, but you've also just flown for 2 days, so you're tired. So that was right. So I went around 24K, and then the next morning I went out and just a little jog, and then there was the Friday, and then I got the train up into Boston to meet the guys from Puma Australia, and Max, who owns the running company Adelaide, and Patrick, who owns Up There Athletics and Up There, which is a Melbourne-based. The Up There is probably a little more like streetwear casual mix into running, and then they have their running kind of athletics related. Their thing's probably more like top to toe, 360 looks. Yeah, they buy the clothing that matches the shoes, and they kind of do that. And then the running company's very similar to how we do things. So it was cool. There's 5 of us there from Oceania, and had a nice weekend. Got in a Celtics game that was unreal. Had a couple of jogs with Max and Patrick there. Like Max was Max Stevens, the Aussie steeple chaser.
Oh yeah,
he's 15th all time for them or something, or 19th all time for 3K steeples. We had a couple of runs together, and then Patrick got sick actually, so he didn't run in the end. But Boston was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all similar, but it's different. It sounds really weird, but...
No, I thought Boston was just a bigger Christchurch.
Yeah.
You have the river that kind of...
Like green space and
stuff.
stuff.
You have the river that kind of separates the city, and then the two sides, and then you kind of had one side which was, or almost one side that was kind of all the universities and kind of older houses and stuff, and then you come across the other side, and then there was obviously Newberry, and then behind Newberry was all the big, kind of bigger buildings and that, and we had a nice 80-minute run. I don't know what day that was, maybe the Sunday. And then Monday we cracked into some fun stuff. With Puma and heaps of stuff I'm not allowed to talk about. So I have to check myself. But I think the the first thing I picked up on was, this is not going to aiming to blow our own trumpets, but how far ahead we are of everywhere else. How we do things, how we think about things, how we challenge each other to think about things. I think that's one that I appreciate with you guys and the rest of the staff is you just don't accept. Like I can come and say, hey, this Fast R 3 is the best shoe ever. And you'd be like, why? You're not just like, okay, so we're back. Some technical difficulties meant that we had to go away for 40 minutes, but it's going to be just like we never left, apart from me telling you that we have.
Time travel.
Bring on with some childhood trauma. I just went to the dairy to get some bread and I never came back.
Pretty
Way
much.
too real. No, no, just joke.
I'm leaving. Do we need to have a conversation now? No, we're good.
My dad's very much around.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
You spin my head right round. So we were talking about Puma.
Yes.
The first thing I wanted to say was and acknowledge that Puma paid for me to go to America.
That's unreal.
And the second thing to that, I'm very grateful for the opportunity, but it will not change my opinion on Puma footwear. So you cannot buy Oska's opinion.
They found that out.
Yeah, they did find that out. We'll talk about that later, but I just wanted to make sure that people knew that, yes, I have nothing to hide. Yes, brands like my opinion.
Transparent.
Yes, I'm being transparent. That if I don't like something, I will say so.
Yeah.
And my opinion can't be bought. So just in case anyone was thinking that.
Yeah.
And if you were thinking that, fuck you very much.
You were thinking, you don't know Oska.
Yeah. No, so anyway, what I was saying was how kind of advanced we are with what we do and how we talk about stuff and some of the questions we were asking. And, I got to sit with product line managers and the CEO and the head of Puma, and they appreciated our honesty and the questions that we were asking and how vocal we were with, like, how open we were with our business. Some of the trials and tribulations that we have and how they could listen to how they could help us have a more successful business. And in turn, that means that they're more successful because we buy more shoes and sell more shoes, right? Like, and the North Star, if you wish, not to be too corny of that, is that the customer is the most important thing in terms of keeping them running. Because if they don't run anymore, they don't want running shoes, and that means I can't buy them from the brand, and we can't sell them to the customer. Therefore,
Everyone loses.
everyone can't lose out. So, yeah, that's so we sat. Day one was almost like an extended sell-in, I would say. So we had up in the I'll backtrack. So we stayed in a place called Assembly, which was where the first Fords were put together.
That's pretty cool.
So there was a massive big area that they leveled out about 6 years ago, so it was brand new, and there was a bunch of shops and restaurants, and then some fucking huge hotels, as they do.
Yeah.
Everything's crazy big, and so there, just around the corner from the hotel, which was like, I think it was called the Row on Assembly something, was the Puma America HQ. So it was a massive big building. They had 5 of the 13 floors of the building were Puma orientated, and so actually the first night we went to, they had a fashion show, which I couldn't care less for, to be honest. I would have been happier at the bar having a glass of wine, but you've been to some range showings now, and you've been to quite a few with me now, and then the brand always wants to like show you, here's a video of how amazing we are. Like, woohoo, look at us. And you're like, man, I've seen like 7 of these in the last 3 days.
Yep.
And they all look like have the same vibe.
Yeah, they're all like loud, quick cut.
Quick cut, hype music.
Hype music, like all their elite athletes, and only 2 of them are runners, the rest are football players and like volleyball, whatever. So they had this fashion show thing, which was just like loud and dark. Sound like a boomer.
It's like,
Yeah, I was like, cool, man.
People these days,
I want to see
man.
the shoes.
Show me the shoes. But that brings me back to my first point about like our core care is obviously customer, but then product.
Yeah.
Like, so I want to maximize my time with product and try and see as much product as I can. So I see that sort of like, would you call it fluffy stuff?
Mm.
It's like I couldn't give a fuck. I turned to the guy from Aussie and I was like, I just couldn't give a shit. None of my customers look like these models.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm not trying to get them to look like these models either.
no, and I mean, like, they were good-looking human beings. You're like, congratulations, you won the gene pool match. But like, none of them looked like a customer. Anyway,
Are you calling all the customers ugly?
no, I'm just not calling them.
No, just not supermodels.
Not like 6'4" attractive-looking men with perfect hair and built bodies, or like yoga.
Yeah, I know
like
the vibe.
female, like there was a vibe. That's a good word. There's definitely a vibe that went with it. So and then the next day, and so what we had was hour and a half meetings with all the different departments inside of Puma. So we had a clothing and apparel, business innovation, product innovation, everyday trail, and so the whole point of that was we spent an hour and a half with the people, what we call like a PLM or a product line manager in each of those categories, and we could ask whatever we wanted. And then for most of the questions that I asked, they weren't able to give me the answer, but that was quite cool.
Yeah.
I think the two that were probably the best were talking to the guys in charge of innovation, and in particular with the race day innovation, and they're never going to tell you everything. No. Which is just like, come on, man. Just tell me a little bit. I won't tell anybody apart from the 1,500 people who are going to listen to this. And so there's one shoe that I bought in to show you guys that we can't have on the camera, but what they had was essentially Deviate Elite Nitro 4, and I got to see 5, which I'll tell you guys about later when we're not recording, because that was, I think that what I didn't realize, and I'm sorry I'm going on tangents everywhere here, what I didn't realize is how they have all these ideas, right? So you might have 4 or 5 people on a design team or more, and then they have all these ideas, and then they make the prototypes of the ideas, and then they bring them all back into the lab and they test them on a whole bunch of different people, and then they narrow down those ideas until they come up with a finished product. Yeah. And so it was really cool to see the weird and wonderful, wacky things that we, probably particularly Tom and I, would like discuss. People are making that to try. Yeah,
that's cool.
That's so dope. Like the Deviate Elite Nitro 5 that I got to see, there was 4 different versions of that. Yeah. And there's some stuff in there I'm like, bro, this makes sense. I don't know if it's commercial.
Yeah.
Like no one's buying that.
Yeah.
Because it's too weird. Yeah. But I put it on and had a bounce around the lab, and I was like, fuck.
Give me that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But like someone's going to pick that up on the shop and go, yeah, nah, that's.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like it doesn't just have to. People have to want to buy it for what it is.
And you're trying to. I didn't even know. And the guy, Chad, like he didn't even know how to explain it to me. He was like, we just had this idea. Yeah. We wanted to see if it would work. We got the factory to make it for us. It works, but we don't know why.
Damn.
So that's
pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. So so we had these hour and a half meetings. The innovation team was cool. Obviously, the whole week for Puma was built around this Project 3 inside the Boston London Marathons, which happened a week apart, 6 days apart, where you could apply to be part of the program. If you broke your PB by 3 or more minutes, you got paid out $3,000, and they were all running in the Fast R 3s that we'll talk about at the end of the podcast. But that was kind of the whole thing. So we talked a lot about that, and one thing that I thought was really cool, but also slightly scary, as long as it doesn't take away the human element, is that what they're doing now is they've built a computer AI software that you can basically put in a shoe, a 3D map model of a shoe, and then the computer will tell you what parts it needs and doesn't. So that's where, and I think I'm okay to say it, that's where Fast R 3 came from, was actually, it was like, hey, what do we want to solve? We'll try a whole bunch of different ideas, and then we will put this model into a computer, and then AI will make it so that there's just enough for the end product, and then we'll make it back in the physical world again. And so that's where they're going, and what you'll see with a lot of the stuff with DNE4, which we can't show you, and in particular Fast R, was that this 3D modeling meant that there are no wasted parts
Yeah.
of that shoe. Now, that has its limitations because AI is only as good as the things that you tell it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like it's a learned thing.
Yeah.
And I have some apprehension about the back of the shoe
Yeah.
and the bevel. So I don't think you'd want to be someone that landed back there. But again, you look at the brief, you look
Yeah.
at the person that's intended for, the paces that they're going to try and run, you probably don't need the back of the shoe.
No.
So when they're writing it into this AI program and they're saying, okay, well, this is what we want this to do, this is who we want it to be for, go away, where does the human foot need material, where does it not?
Yeah.
And you kind of see that in the sky midfoot area. Where's the carbon going to make up for lack of stability? And then obviously the toe piece at the front, which honestly, I don't know, man. Far out. It's a bit gimmicky. But so it was really fun to listen to the guy, and they had some stuff there that they're making in particular, like just crazy shit that they think of that will never go to market.
Yeah.
So they have an open,
That's so fun.
yeah, they have like an open slather, and they just make one. And there was like, honestly, there was like a shoe that was supposed to be a spring, and so it was a round carbon that was strong enough to cope with human weight. And so it was like this, like honestly, if you're watching on YouTube, it's kind of like a 12 centimeters kind of circumference.
Yeah.
And you're like this, and then there's a shoe on top, like the upper on top, and like midsole. And then when it was a spring. So if you bounced, it was like on a pogo stick.
Damn.
That's crazy.
It'll never go to market.
Oh, that's cool though.
But it was like, and particularly them just making stuff. So when they go to like World Athletics Champs and stuff, they have like the weird and wacky, wonderful, whatever.
Yeah.
They're also working on a cut down version of the Deviate Elite, which will be a track legal flat.
Yeah.
That's
which-
awesome.
My understanding was that was where they were going. They thought tech was going was to try and have because like if we think about it, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, the Pacer from New Balance and maybe the Takumi from Adidas are the only two lower stacked carbon, and both of those are, dare I say it, kind of average
Yeah.
for their own reasons.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anyone's nailed it yet.
Apparently the Nike one's pretty good.
What are they calling that?
Street Fly.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agreed. I haven't tried it yet.
Mm.
It would be nice to see one because, I mean, what was it? Asics tried a few years back. Remember when they did that spike with no pins? It had like the sharks in teeth. So it was kind of like a flat, but was able to go on the spikes. Oh, able to go on the track, sorry. But didn't really take off.
No.
It wasn't quite there.
Geometry wasn't right, and the shark teeth, whatever, didn't actually grip that well. But I think it also depends what kind of track you're running on, whether it's the Mondo stripped stuff or if it's just the spray-on stuff. It's way different. So it'd be cool to see a flat that's actually track legal. So I feel like you run faster on a 10K in a flat rather than a spike.
100%. Especially at our level.
Yeah.
Like we're not
Yeah.
running 26 minutes or whatever they are now. So that was cool spending time with them. And then bit of time with business development, innovation, when they were actually asking us questions like, how do we find being out in the world? What are some of the challenges we face inside of the business? Like what products are they missing? What do we think about pronation and stability shoes? So everyone asked me to comment on that. And so I gave them some generic bullshit answer and talked around it. And but I think a lot of it is like validating that we have some ideas that we think are correct, and then you go into an atmosphere or a room like that with people who are in charge. I think Puma's the third biggest or fourth biggest brand globally.
Yeah.
And you're like speaking your mind, and they're like, you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you're right. Yes, we're working on this.
Yeah.
Yes, we agree with you.
Feels validating.
It's validating,
Yeah.
and you're like, because you don't know. You think, okay, well, I hope I know
Yeah.
what we're talking about by now.
It's nice to know that everyone agrees or either.
Yeah. And that they were willing to have a robust conversation.
Yeah.
Like if we didn't see eye to eye on something, and then I'm always willing to accept that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Or like have a opinion changed, or if there's a genuine reason, like, so that, spend a bit of time doing that, which was good. That probably could have been a 2.5 hour session, to be honest, because I take my head off to how they're trying to build the brand.
Yeah.
Man, it's a lot of work. Like for any brand coming in, emerging brand, let alone whether or not you're the weight of the fact that you're Puma, like people, I don't think still see Puma as a running brand. Like we do because we have understood it for 18 months now.
Yeah. Well, they really tried, didn't they? They kind of cleared house and was like, no, we need to compete.
Complete overhaul of their whole running lineup and stuff.
So that was good. It was good to yarn with them, and then spent some time with the guys. So Todd, who's the head of Nitro, he is based in Germany now, and he's about to have a wee one. So he was not there, but he had a couple of his guys, and so we spent nearly 2 hours with them, and that was called like every day in trail or every day. I think they call their trail seasons or something, which is weird, like
Season shoes.
European. Yes, like we only use trail shoes in the winter. It's like, hold up, just settle down. They were amazed when I told them that our business is 50-50, trail and road, like 60. Well, it's like 55-45. But they were like, holy hell, you guys are missing out.
They'll probably understand if they came to New Zealand.
Yes.
Like,
That's
you
the
just
hard
have
bit,
to step out, like just go down the road like a kilometre and then you'll be like, okay, I get it.
So I guess where I felt like I gave most of my advice was with the trail product, and they were really good. I was like, well, here's why this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Here's some changes I'd make. They were pretty interested in an ATR type shoe. So
it's one thing that, they definitely could do it easy enough.
Yeah.
I feel like the Magnify with the grip it has is almost ATR. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how much I can say without getting in trouble, but
that's right. I read the picture.
Yeah. And so we're going to see a Voyager 4, which is essentially that. And then there's a shoe called the Velocity, which is like the shoe under the Magnify. Yeah. That's getting an update to be a full Piva midsole, slightly lower stack. They're actually going to put an all-terrain rubber on that.
That's cool.
And then release that as a...
They'll work really well around here.
Yeah. Flexible, lower stack.
Puma's listening.
Slightly harder. And they did. They were like, will you sell this? And I was like, as long as it's not fucking purple.
Yeah.
Because there was the demo they had was purple, and that was the running joke.
Was it like the light, like that, like bright purple with the lime green?
Oh,
violet.
My first thing was, fuck me, it's purple. And then everyone in the room laughed at it.
It's Barney the dinosaur.
Yeah, it's so... the thing I found... And I'll give the brands credit here in New Zealand. They are okay with our opinions. Yeah. And so we express them quite openly, right? Yeah. But I found like
other countries
don't. It's like a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Because we had, for that meeting, we also had 2 guys from Japan and 2 guys from Korea. Yeah. In the room with us. And
they would not say that.
They looked at me like and I was like, the shoe idea is great, but the colour's fucking awful. And
I can imagine sitting in that room with everyone just like, what did he say?
But like, if you're bringing out an all-terrain option, I'm sorry, but if you bring out a purple shoe, like they're just going to be like, sorry, I can't.
No, so then I became the fuck guy.
That's awesome.
For the next 2 days. But no, so that was spending a bit of time with them. I guess get a better understanding of where they see product, what their idea, because they were the first ones to admit that often they make a shoe and then it hits marketing and it becomes something different. Yeah. And I think it's a challenge that we've had. Yeah. Like collectively in the store, and the messaging is something, and then the end user, we're like, hold on a minute, that's not right. Yeah. So that was pretty good. And then I'm trying to think. And then they made us sit on this tour bus. Bro. You guys know
welcome
me.
To America.
Yeah, you guys know me pretty well, right? Yeah. Does Oska like enclosed spaces?
Not great.
No. Does Oska like being told to do things I don't want to do?
Nope.
No. Does Oska like doing those things at the end of a long fucking day when it's 32 degrees and a bus with plastic windows?
Plastic windows.
Well, you know, like you can fold them up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of those like rooftop buses things.
What did you look at though?
Nothing, because I couldn't be fucked.
Yeah.
I turned to Max and
battery was.
I was done. And they're like, oh, no, we're going to do a tour of Boston. I was like, man, I ran all this the other day. I've seen it. Can I just go to the bar? Like,
you're like, let's get a limo.
Yeah.
Now we'll be talking.
I don't know, with your experience, Tom, having spent some time in the US, dinner there is so late.
Yep.
What the fuck? 8 o'clock is not dinner time.
Yeah.
So then,
8:30.
and I'll be the first one to admit, like post marathon, I was pretty free with having a few wines, and I wasn't worried about, I was switching off. So they'd start feeding you wine at 6.
Yeah. You would have enjoyed the portion sizes though.
Oh,
It's so good, eh? The massive meals.
Chipotle.
Yep.
The Chipotle.
Out
oh
the
my
gate.
god. Every day.
Needs to come to New Zealand.
Every day. Maybe that's what we could take up to Nelson next to the shop.
Chipotle is goated.
So I'm pissed
Yeah.
after 2 wines.
Yeah.
It's only 7.
Yep.
And you're waiting for dinner. And
You're like,
then,
may as well have another.
well, yeah. Apart from the one we had out of a plastic cup.
Oh, yeah.
It was
It's
nasty.
criminal.
It was nasty. That was at the Go Wild. They had they'd booked a lower level kind of office block that they'd turned into like a get high
Oh, yeah. Advert thing.
advert thing, which was like,
Yeah.
I want to say about 800 meters from the finish line of Boston Marathon.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so there, and then, and it was all like lit up in the neon colors, and there was people on treadmill getting VO2 tests, and you could buy stuff, and it was just,
That's crazy.
it was crazy. It was the amount of money that week would have cost them was out of fucking phenomenal. And then they booked out a whole restaurant for us to be at about a mile from the finish line on race day.
That's cool.
So where they like breakfast, lunch, drinks, and then when the marathon guys and girls were coming through, we all just got out in the street, and there was a bit there for us, and we got to like watch that. So that was pretty.
How good.
And then the last day was the best day because we got time with the biomechanists in the
that would have been good.
in the lab. So and get to ask like
Logical stuff.
questions like why is your Fast R 3% better? What joint does it maximize or minimize? Like,
Yeah.
and like, and to their credit, they said we don't know. Like,
Yeah.
but I
Like they didn't try like bullshit you.
no, well, it wasn't. It was like we know it does, and I mean, there's always going to be theories. We know that aliphatic TPU is like best in class. They've made the shoe 25 grams lighter, so you're winning straight away already. And then the extenuated toe, in theory, should
Lengthen your stride.
act as a more as a lever and lengthen your stride. There is a cost to that.
Yeah.
They don't know what that is. Like their words. Oh, you go.
No, I was just going to say it would be super hard to test how much extra strain and put through like your lower leg or something.
Yeah.
You can't really do that, right?
No. But I appreciated the honest answer of we're not sure, we just know.
Yeah. We just see the numbers.
So, but that was cool. They talked us through the whole process, and we got to see the little plastic pucks that the shoes are made out of, and like talk firsthand. One of the guys had just been over in China at one of the factories, so he was like, they've got some new stuff going on. There's massive big vats of nitrogen. The hyperbaric chambers that they have and the pressurized rooms and stuff. And it was like the tech, they can make however many a week. And pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
that was probably the highlight for me was the 2 and a bit hours we spent talking my language.
Yeah.
Like I could have just gone for that 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And yarn with them about it. So, and then what did we do after that? Don't remember. Yeah.
Watch the marathon.
We watched the marathon, went to a baseball game. Baseball's dumb. Sorry, Americans. It's dumb.
It's dumb, but there's one thing I will say about America: they know how to do sport.
Oh, it's
It's a spectacle.
The atmosphere is amazing.
Yeah.
Baseball is a sport.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
See how far I can hit the ball and run around a triangle.
Yeah. But I think there was only like 2 home runs.
Yeah.
And then there was something like the 7.
And they get paid millions of dollars to do it.
Was it like the 7 innings something?
Yeah.
7 innings song? I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then because the Red Sox were losing so badly, everyone left at the 7 innings.
I was like, all right, we're out.
But then the atmosphere was cool. And the thing I noticed was the amount of young people.
Yeah.
They were like, you guys age just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, we don't see that here.
No, I think hopefully it'll change when the new stadium comes along. But we just don't do sport like they do. They it's a spectacle going to a game.
Like it's a thing that just people just
Yeah,
do as
yeah.
a part of their like weekly
Yeah, it's like a
routine.
weekly
And
thing.
there's no tall poppy.
No.
There's no like, oh, you're a loser for loving it.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck yeah, you into it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
Oh, they're diehard fans. Like
Yeah.
they have a team and they'll support it till the day they die.
Oh,
Even
it's-
if they suck, they will not jump ship.
And
like,
they won't say that it sucks
Yeah.
either. They'll just
oh no, it's just been a bad season. You
Yeah.
know?
I agree though. Like when we walked up into the gardens to watch Celtics play,
Yeah.
like you come out of the subway, Eye of the Tigers playing.
Yeah.
There's screens everywhere. There's 18,000 people who are going fucking nuts. There's 2 DJs.
They build it up.
It's just like the whole, and that's like 2 hours before the tap off. The game's only 48 minutes.
Yeah.
really.
Like a game's only
Yeah,
four
true.
12-minute quarters.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it takes way longer than that.
Yeah, yeah.
But like in terms of like playing time,
Yeah.
I don't know. We're missing out on something.
Even in Australia, it's like if you go to like an Aussie rules game or something, it's like the atmosphere around it is, so much more hype than what you get.
Do you think
Yeah.
this is because we're embarrassed?
Well, first of all, we don't take enough advantage of like marketing and stuff in sport. Like they can make it that experience because they promote so much shit during the game.
Yeah.
So they get so much money from adverts and stuff.
How wild are the ads?
Yeah, I know, they're crazy, eh? That's so unhinged.
There's one that was like an ad for a water park thing, and
Slip
it's
and slide or some
no,
shit.
it's like Seal, Seal the singer.
Yeah.
His face
Oh,
on a
yeah.
seal,
Yeah.
and then like they do this whole thing, and it's like Seal singing a Seal song.
Yeah.
And then it pans to the left, and Seal is sitting on a boat, being like, "That's
Yeah.
a good looking seal."
Yeah.
Like, buy such and such.
Because they don't have like they're so free. Like freedom of speech is one of their big things. Like we live in a free country, so they do whatever they feel like, which can be random at times. But no, they do. They promote it so well, and they get so much backing from so many companies and stuff that they can create such a cool atmosphere, which is what we lack. Like you go to a Crusaders game on Saturday, it's like you walk into the stadium, it's like pissing rain.
freezing cold.
freezing cold,
You've got like
like-
4 puffer jackets.
Yeah, they maybe pump a few flames out when the teams run out, and then that's about it. Like there's no real entertainment there apart from the actual game.
I remember like going when I was younger, they'd have like the horses that ran around the outside.
Yeah,
Did they
Yeah.
get rid of
yeah,
them? Did they get rid of the horses?
yeah. I
Was there
think so.
some? Because when they weren't the
Crusaders?
Crusaders anymore,
Yeah,
I
something
don't
like that.
know.
But I feel like hopefully with the new stadium they'll be able to do something more because it's all
Yeah.
enclosed and stuff, so you'll
Yeah.
get a better atmosphere.
Yeah.
Which would be cool, and it is needed for sure. Like that's the one thing I definitely miss is like when we were at college and stuff, we'd go out to games in the weekend, like a football game, and there'd be like, you'd sell out $70,000
Yeah.
seat stadium every weekend. But going to the game, it was like the whole pre-game, there's everything before the game as an event, and then the game itself was just unreal. It's like watch the game, 15 minutes, and then there's like some entertainment on the field, like cheerleaders and stuff, and all the other carry on. So they do sport cool.
We're missing out on an opportunity there. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
as a sports business, you're like,
Yeah.
surely there's, I don't know. But
yeah,
so yeah, and then we wrapped up and hung out for dinner, and then on Friday I took the train down to Washington because I could, down to DC, and
Do you meet Trump?
no, but running past the White House is pretty wild. What else is wild is the amount of motorcades.
yeah,
So I really wanted to go down to Georgetown and walk along M Street and just
yeah,
have a look at some of the shops, and I made a habit of trying to go into as many Run Specialty stores as I could, and like Dick's Sporting Goods, and like just well, I can call it a work trip wherever I go then.
yeah,
So what do you call it, research and development, or
yeah.
like market research? And in the space, it's like it was about 4.5K from my hotel. I got a Lime scooter, and in there's like 3 motorcades.
Yeah.
In the 20 minutes I was on the Lime scooter, it was like,
Yeah.
wow. And there's like 8 police motorcycles, 4 police cars, 3 big fuck off black SUVs, 3 more cop cars, 8 more motorbikes, and then cops stopping everyone at every intersection.
Yeah.
Step back from the line, sir. I'm like, well, fuck, okay, man, I'm
Cool.
just chilling.
Already.
Yeah, that was wild because I guess they're all there, right? Like all the embassies but honestly, I probably preferred DC.
Big dogs.
I probably preferred that out of all the places. Like that nice big national mall and like all the green spaces and
Yeah.
no
Little
really
less
tall.
hectic.
Well, and there's not like really tall buildings because nothing's allowed to be taller than than the monument.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty cool standing. You see like the monument, and then you can see Capitol Hill, and then
Yeah.
You can kind of see it was pretty cool. But spent the weekend there and then flew home. And here
Busy
I am.
week.
Here I am. 2 weeks lonely though for the time that I wasn't with the
Yeah.
Puma crew because all you guys are sleeping while I'm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the American recap. I wouldn't say it's the American dream. I don't know.
White picket fence.
I don't know where that comes from.
No.
Guns and freedom.
Yeah, I'd say I was a little anxious about that, but no, it's not like they portray it.
Nah.
And do you know what else I noticed? Everyone's really nice.
They are super inviting people.
Yeah.
And they get a really bad rap. Like,
I
I don't know what it is. Like, everywhere I went, they're all so polite and like, inviting and stuff.
Do you think it's, and we're getting way off the topic of being a running podcast right now, but
Yeah.
do you think it's the tip culture?
Probably.
Like it just breeds that, like, if I'm nice,
Yeah.
I might get a bigger tip or a tip. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Well,
Anna switched off. She didn't give a fuck. She's like, I don't care.
I don't know.
I wanted to go home half an hour ago.
At least the states that I was in, they're all very, like, they're just very welcoming people. I know, like, I was in the southern states and then I was in, like, Colorado and stuff, which is a little bit different to the southern states. But at least the southern states, they're all very welcoming. I think that's just how they're brought up there, like, pretty easygoing.
The amount of times I got called Austin at Starbucks because of my accent.
Austin.
Austin. Yeah.
No, it is. It's a cool place.
Should have just made up your name like, oh, I'm called Texas.
Okay. I could. I could. That would be a fun game.
Yeah.
Could be something completely different for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Because like no one knows.
No. Poll? Should we do the poll?
Yeah.
Poll of the week.
What is the hardest distance to get
Get
right?
right. Yeah.
Do we have results from it?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is because we came up with this
Yeah,
before and then I didn't put it up. I couldn't get it up. Oh, technology is failing me, man. This wasn't well planned, was it?
When are we ever though?
But not really. We have no session written for today, do we? We're just freewheeling. Oh,
It's very like.
fuck. I'm surprised.
What
by
do we
that.
got?
Yeah.
What do we
Wow.
got?
Okay. So the question I asked was, what's the hardest distance to get right?
Yep.
That was the words that I used. So, and then I had the options of 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon.
Mhm.
I don't remember what we said. I think we said marathon because of the.
I think marathon, yeah.
Yeah, because of
was
like
the hardest one to get right.
the like investment in it, I guess.
I think we should have a jar, and every time one of us touches our microphone or fucking plays with a little knob, we should put
I'm
money
holding
in the
mine
jar.
so it stops making noise in my ear.
He's holding his knob.
He's holding his knob.
Cord, actually.
Okay. I would have gone with knob.
Continue.
Tom's still got his umbilical cord cut.
I'll let it fly and then it'll just make some noises.
What do you
so.
then fly? Oh! Instead of the reach around, it's the wrap around.
Yeah. Round the back. Round the back, stranger.
Yeah, at least you have no babies. That was a previous
Except for his
conversation
knee.
we were having. You what?
What?
I didn't catch it.
Continue.
Okay.
So hardest distance to get right.
So the hardest distance to get right, 44% of the votes said marathon.
Yep.
20% said half marathon. And then 20% said 5K. And then 15% said 10K.
I would
Is
have
that
to agree with that.
Interesting.
I would actually agree with that 100%.
I
don't know why, but no, I know why, but
I don't know what I was expecting.
well, the 5K is so hard, right? Because you got to get you got to be strong enough, but you've also got to be fast enough
Okay.
to like nail your at optimal time. 10K, you just have to be. I feel like you got to be strong. You don't necessarily have to be like 1500 fast,
Yep, gotcha.
but you don't have to be marathon strong.
And I feel like you can run within 3% of
Yeah.
a good 10K time almost
Yeah.
any stage of training.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And the
I get
pace
that.
isn't like you're not on the red line like you are on a 5K, but then you're not trying to sustain like your hour and a half.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then the half is just like who can hold, like I said before, who can run their threshold for the longest, basically. And the marathon's just hard.
And we're
physiologically the hardest one for sure.
and I think as we get closer and closer to being able to run our thresholds, or like 97% of our max or 98% of our max for 2 hours. Yeah, you're right. It's interesting. What about, so obviously Anna, you're a non-elite in a respectful way.
In a respectful way.
What would you say is the worst distance?
I think the most daunting is the marathon.
Is that because it's the longest?
Just the longest.
Innuendo.
Yeah.
The
But like, I
most
don't.
daunting.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't like have the desire to ever run a marathon in my life.
Why is that?
I don't know. I've just got like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it will change, but right now I just kind of like, whatever.
Content with what you're doing.
I would say marathons ruin you.
Yeah.
Like one of my 3 weeks nearly.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to run for more than 40 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Mum said Dad became too antisocial when he was training for his marathon.
Takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, they also had 5 kids.
Yeah, that takes up a lot of time too.
I struggle to train for one with 2 kids. So that's interesting. Oh, well, fair enough. That might change when you run a good half marathon.
Yeah, exactly. Because I actually haven't I've done the distance of a half before, but in like adventure racing kind of context. So it's not like the same, just running it the whole time. So I guess I'll see how I feel after I do a half.
Personally, I feel like a half marathon is the hardest distance to get right. Because if you fuck up, there's no coming back. You are not salvaging the race.
Do you think that's because you are better suited to the marathon?
I think I'm better suited to a half. My half marathon PB is way better than my marathon PB. Like 64 flat, I should be able to run 2:12 and 2:13, and I am 3.5 minutes away.
But does that mean the marathon's harder?
I think the marathon is you. There's a lot of outside factors.
Yeah.
So whether or not that makes it harder to get right.
Yeah.
Whether we're asking it in terms of like you getting it right or the external things allowing you to get it right.
Yeah.
But I feel like the half marathon is like the hardest one if everything's perfect.
Yeah.
Because
like you coming to the party.
Yeah, like you come to the party, the weather comes to the party, the course comes to the party, the competition comes to the party, and because the training is obviously like pure lactate threshold. And can you sit at 100% or 110% for an hour?
Yeah.
And if you screw that first 10K,
you're done.
You are done.
Yeah.
Because you can't recover. Yeah. There's no lactate clearing.
Yeah.
If you've
gone too hard.
Gone too hard. I don't know. I feel like for the marathon, if you run the first 15K a bit quicker, you can have a soft 7K. You still might have time to save it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
So do you reckon, this is a great segue that I'm just going to throw in here, by the way.
Go, boy.
Is the 10 miler 16K your sweet spot for someone who's a half marathon runner? Because most people can go max to 16K.
I love that distance. Yeah. Or there used to be the 14K out at Titap. Phenomenal distance. Yeah. Because I think for someone like me that maybe doesn't have the top end speed, like 5K, 10K, I can run my 10K pace for 14, 15K.
Yeah.
Like, because of the, like it does.
Just how you are.
It's just how I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it leans into more of like your threshold should be able to be 45 to 50 minutes, right?
So, I definitely agree. Like, I mean, I think I've run 15K in like 45, 28 which means I should be able to run 63, 30, but you start getting that last 6K right. It's really hard.
The reason I say that is because Hayden Wild did not get enough credit for breaking the New Zealand record 2 weeks ago.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
10 mile New Zealand record.
What do you run?
47:30. 251s for 16K.
That's awesome.
He's an animal.
Took down a 208 marathoner and a 60:30 half marathon guy and a 28 flat or a 27:50 10K guy. Just went over under the radar. No one said a thing about it.
Yeah,
Athletics New Zealand. Got to get your shit together. But that also segues into him having a crack at the New Zealand 10K. road record.
Okay.
So who has that?
I believe Zane Robertson. So we don't know who actually has it, but anyway, I won't go into that.
You can do some investigative
Yeah.
journalism.
Yeah, I believe it's 27, 28.
So that's almost the track record too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that about? Are they about
I
the
think
same?
it's about 27, 20, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So very close. But yeah, he's now there's the Essex athlete. He's going to the Essex Tokyo event, which they do every year when they release their new racing shoe. And
So that's at 10 p.m. time tomorrow night, and it will be streamed on the Essex website for free.
yeah,
Essex, New Zealand.
just Essex
Essex
Global. I think it's on YouTube
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty cool event. Like for someone who's just signed with the brand, they're like fully invested in him trying to get this record. He's got like 6 paces for himself, and it's around a 1.5k lap, which they have also set up pace lights for the paces.
Yeah, it's going to be
So
pretty
it's like
speedy.
around a park, basically, like a public park in Tokyo. And
Amazing.
yeah, so he's pretty excited for that. He travelled in a little bit late, and to be fair, he only raced that 10 miler maybe 2 weeks ago. So he's a little bit
Good boost.
apprehensive, but I think it would be pretty cool to see it go down. And he's clearly in shape. Like he said, he felt unreal in that 10 miler, like best he's ever felt in a running race. But to run that quick over 10 miles, he's well on track for like a sub 60 half marathon.
Yeah,
that's
cooked.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So the 10,000 meter road record is 27:30:90.
Did Taylor?
No,
Jake.
Yeah.
Robertson.
And who's second? Does it say? No.
Doesn't say.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's pretty cool from Essex to.
Yeah. Yeah, they set it up every year, so they're releasing their Essex Metaspeed Ray, I believe.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to get us some, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Which
Brands,
is,
if you're listening, hook us up. 8.5 and a 9.5, please.
yeah. Please and thank you.
7.5.
What is it? 129 grams.
It's the same as the Evo. Yeah.
Yeah. But interesting, has adopted a few different traits from other racing shoes out there. Good drop in insole and only a 4-foot plate. He said it's pretty epic to run in, but it needs some work on the upper because it's quite average going around corners.
Yeah.
Like it's quite soft and bouncy, but I don't know.
I would say that because to get the weight down in the shoes, so if we're picking on like Evo and others, the difference between a 30 gram upper that holds your foot onto the top and a 12 or 15 gram upper that is just simply there as a coverage is a lot.
Yeah.
I hope no one's putting a thick sock in there to bring the weight down. I thought about that when I was wearing Adidas. I was like, you have to wear the thinnest, lightest sock possible because otherwise it's a waste. Like
wasting the shoe,
just adding weight on. Yeah, I don't know if that's we ever talk about that. You know, when people come in the shop and they're like, I want the lightest shoe possible, and they put a
sock
A
on.
Thorlo, like 3-layer sock.
But even and I think the shoe socks are great. But do you need all the crew? Do you need all that extra weight?
No, it's definitely a fashion statement.
But would you? But like, if you think about,
Okay.
would it be helping with aero, like having a crew sock? Like,
nah, if you got shaved, most guys that are running that fast is waxed or shaved legs anyway.
Does Henry shave his legs?
yeah,
That's hot.
yep. No.
Do you ever sometimes you're like Katie always used to find it weird that my legs were smoother than hers sometimes?
I think it's good.
We found Anna's kink.
Oh, Jesus.
It's fair because I don't know if Henry listens, but Jack does.
Henry and MC.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to
Sorry,
MC. Mother-in-law of the year, right?
Not mother-in-law yet.
Oh, sorry. Potential future mother-in-law. No, so go Hato.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
I feel bad that I didn't know, but I think when he broke it, I was on a plane.
Yeah.
And then I was obviously... Do you know what's random about being overseas? Your reels are not the same than they are here.
No.
All I was getting was those stupid YouTubers who are like, what's your body count?
Bloggers, yeah.
It wasn't Italian brain rot.
There's a lot of that going around.
To the point where I ended up just like turning all my socials off. It was like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So, and then obviously Ash's going to have that. I'm going to try and get hold of some for those people who have seen it online, I don't think we're going to be able to get it. It was an ASICS direct-to-customer exclusive.
Yeah.
And I have a funny feeling that they will stick by that.
Yeah.
Which is always disappointing, but it's just life.
I think, the new Metaspeed's probably more commercially fun for people as well. And apparently that's pretty good too. So.
And should see that in the end of July, early August.
July's going to be a good month for race shoes.
Not a good month for the shop's cash flow.
No.
Yeah, that's going down.
You guys just have to buy them.
Absolutely.
No, so I think the sun just came out and the lighting now looks.
We look good.
I almost look alive. Shout out to my guy Judd Cargan who designed this jumper.
Yeah.
For I Love Ugly.
Yeah.
But I also am wearing super dry shorts, which makes me old, right? A super dry like dad wear.
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
You've never heard of? I've heard of super dry. I don't think it's old person.
The shop in New York was very cluttered. But when my flight was delayed, I had because there was no laundromats in Washington where I was staying. I didn't have any clean clothes. I'd rationed it out so that I had what I was going to fly home and then something to get changed in when I got to Auckland. And so I was like, I'm going to go have to buy some stuff. So anyway, that was an excuse to go shopping. Adidas store was cool. The Puma store was cool. Nike store was underwhelming.
Yeah, a lot of lights.
It's just like, where's all the product?
Yeah.
It's like 7 stories and there's 3 tops in each one.
Yeah. Over glammed up,
So there's that. And then Autumn Grind.
Yeah.
Autumn Grind kicked off yesterday, May the 1st. 100 people.
It's pretty good.
100 people. And good spread of people around the country. So I didn't do a very good job at advertising because we had the marathon going on and then I pissed off. So I feel like for spring we need to have a good big campaign.
Yeah.
And
maybe we could do like a Nelson party and a Christchurch party.
Yes. We'll do it in both locations. Yeah. For sure. Which is weird. It means we're going to have 2 stores in like 4 weeks.
It's actually coming up really fast.
Yeah. And then we need to talk about, touch on, or you can.
London Marathon.
The way I said touch and then the way that you said Al was interesting. Anyway.
What?
Don't worry. The mouth shape. And don't worry.
Marathon of London.
The London Marathon.
56,000 people.
Guinness World Record?
Yep.
That's fucked.
Crazy, yeah.
That's.
Well, 56,000.
Do you think that is too many people?
Yes.
Nah.
Yes. I mean, it's amazing, but yes.
Yeah. But they do it so well, it doesn't really get that crammed because it's all in waves. So they have like waves of pace. So it's pretty spread out. Like it's just the whole day.
Have we talked about how many people it would take to be running in one direction
to move the world?
The world?
Yeah. Pretty close.
So Kat ran 2:43.
52.
Yeah, 2:43.52.
Yeah.
Massive PB, 20 minutes. She's unreal. We love Kat.
Loved every
and
second of it
and she
as
was
well.
smiling so much. It was like seeing all the pictures and stuff. It was so cool.
Amazing experience for her. So we're going to do a recap with her when she's back in a couple of weeks because right now she's lying on a beach.
Having some cocktails.
Before, I'm glad you've... Yeah. Wasn't just lying on a beach.
I knew exactly what Oska was thinking.
Yeah, I think I did too. Anyways, new woman's only world record.
Yeah, 2:15.
2:15.50.
I'm retiring. I'm done. I suck.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Quick.
Do you know what I love though with the London Marathon is so they do the women's first, obviously, and then the men's wave goes off, but they have like the age group is standing behind, and you get those like few people that like get the camera time. Yeah, that's funny.
So amazing weekend, but yeah, Kat obviously doing really well. Yeah, the the battery's going to go again, but that's okay because I think we'll be pretty close to it now.
Yep.
Should we talk about the shoe real quick?
Yeah.
So these the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite.
No.
Fast R 3s. Nitro Fast R 3s.
No elite, but
no
they're
elite.
pretty elite.
Crazy 170 grams for a men's US size 9, 8mm drop. Legal at 40 mils in the back, 32 in the forefoot. The Ultra Weave upper is unbelievably light.
Yeah.
They're claiming it's going to increase your performance by 3%. That's ballsy. Not quite sure on that. We'll get back. Shape's nice. Fit's good.
It's a certain type of runner.
Yeah, I think it's for a strength runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's for someone who can stamp down on it and really get the benefit of that extended toe plate. But we will have some, next Friday.
Yeah.
The cutouts are pretty impressive. Obviously, it's got no heel. It's really beveled.
Yeah.
This is for someone who's landing mid to 4 foot, can drive power into the plate. The foam is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to say best in class.
Mm.
Like, I think I said that on our group chat last night.
It's unreal.
I think it's unreal. So
it's a significant update from the last one. The last one was dog shit.
Do we know how much it retails for?
I think 360 or 370.
Yeah.
So it's in the window.
Yep.
Puma have been pretty good about that. So obviously it's like kind of got a less slip grip bottom. It's really just made for the road.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any good on gravel or anything. I mean, I want to get out there and have a good few runs in it before I kind of form an opinion.
Yeah.
But the impressiveness of the plethora of athletes who wore it in Boston and the different paces and types seem to think it was pretty good.
I think it's pretty cool how they had a lot of guys that were just non-elite, like smashing PBs.
Yeah.
And obviously you can't just accredit it to a shoe. You know, there's hours and hours of training that goes into that. But I do like how they were quite open to test against competitors.
Yeah. Yep. They did a cool thing with a bunch of people, influencers, where they got to bring in any shoe they wanted and test them against it. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
They're doing a good job with their marketing at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is good, but also starts to worry me because if you've got to make the most noise, are you making the best product? Which I talked to them about.
Yeah.
I was like, don't get caught up in the rat race of Nike's game.
Selling it.
Yeah.
Just prove it with.
Which is what I said about the
Sales.
Magnify. It's like the Magnify had no marketing and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So, like, yes, put your pinnacle product out there, but
Yeah. I think they do a good job of that. Like, they have a very solid range of shoes.
Yep.
And a lot of them aren't overhyped, but their racing stuff is definitely, like, top tier now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's cool to see it because, what was it, only 2 years ago, 2 iterations ago, the Deviate, it was just nothing. Yeah.
Sucked.
So they've come a long way, which is cool.
So I love being proven right.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, you'll be able to try it out in 2 weeks' time, hopefully.
Yeah, next Friday, I'm pretty sure. Maybe in a week. I need to ring Andre and figure it out.
Yeah.
As we now have a new Puma rep.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's cool. So yeah, anything else from you guys?
No.
Right.
Cruise back together.
Yeah. We might have a little more life next week.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty energized, to be honest.
Actually, Tom is leading the energy right now.
Yeah, he is.
100%. We need to give Anna more caffeine before we record.
I've already had 2 coffees today.
This is what I've been trialing out, you know. I've been trialing out a new thing. If you have a coffee at 2:30 to 3, you crash at 9 p.m. at night and you get amazing sleep.
It's just like
So I have a delayed coffee now.
Do you call that coffee edging?
Probably. Yeah, 6-hour half-life, you know.
Better trademark that term.
Coffee edging.
I've been testing it with my my Oura ring and my deep sleep has got better. I don't know if it's from relation, but I've been doing it for a few weeks now. I like doing these little self-trials, studies.
Statistically
There you
speaking.
go. So have your coffee at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And my model of 1. All right.
Actually, what is the time? 4 o'clock? No, it's probably about 3.
So anyway, I think the camera's going to die, but it's nice to be back. It's nice to talk to you guys.
Hopefully
We'll keep bringing the energy. I'm going to keep bringing in the energy.
Nice sunny weekend.
Eat your veggies.
Cut.